Welcome to Norman's News, the news you can use. All right, today we are reading Misty of Chincoteague Chapter 4 with permission from Simon and Schuster. All right, here we go. Chapter 4, Sacred Bones.
What? What does that say?
Sacred bones.
Hello, came a voice down the beach. The boy and the girl turned to see Grandpa Beebe swinging toward them, his gnarled arms upraised like a wind-twisted tree. "Paul," he boomed, "put down that bone. Put down, I tell ye." Paul had forgotten all about the curved piece of wood. Now he noticed that he was clenching it so tightly it left a white streak in the palm of his hand. He dropped it so quickly as Grandpa came up. "How often do I gotta tell you that bones is sacred, even ship's bones?" "Is it true, Grandpa?" asked Paul. "Be what true?" Grandpa repeated, pulling off his battered felt hat and letting the wind toss his hair. "About the Spanish galleon being wrecked." "And the pony swimming ashore," added Maureen. Grandpa Beebe squinted at the sun. "It's nigh unto noontide," he said, "and your grandma is having 16 head to dinner tomorrow. We gotta get back home to Chincoteague right smart quick. I promised to kill some turkeys for her." He sighed heavily. "Seems as if the devil is a lust sitting cross-legged of me." But he made no move to go on. Instead, he squatted down on the beach muttering, "Don't see why she's got a parabol on today." Then he took off his boots and socks and dug his toes in the sand, like fiddler crabs scuttling for home. "Feels good, don't it?" he said with a grin. He looked from Paul to Maureen and back again. "Yer know," he went on, and he began to rub the bristles of his ear, as he always did when he was happy. "Yer know, the best thing about having 14 head of children is you're bound to get 1 or 2 good grandchildren out of the lot." "Grandpa," reminded Paul, "is it true about the Spanish galleon and the ponies? Or is it a legend like the folks over the mainland say?" "Course it's true," replied Grandpa with a little show of irritation. "All the wild herds of Chincoteague be descendants of a bunch of Spanish horses. They wasn't wild to begin with, mind ye. They just went wild with their freedom." Maureen did a quick leap, like a colt bucking. "Then it's not a legend?" she rejoiced. "It's not a legend." "Who said it wasn't a legend?" Grandpa exclaimed. "Course it's a legend, but legends be the only stories as is true." He stopped to find the right words. "Facts are fine for as they go," he said, "but they're like water bugs skittering atop the waters. Legends now, they go deep down and bring up the heart of a story." Here, Grandpa shoved his hand into the pocket of his overalls and produced a long stick of licorice and a plug of tobacco. With a pair of wire clippers, he divided the licorice in half and gave a piece to Maureen and 1 to Paul. Then he cut himself a quid of tobacco. There was a little silence while the old man and the boy and the girl thought about the shipwrecked ponies. Then, almost in the same breath, Paul and Maureen blurted out together, "Who discovered them?" Grandpa spat out the sea. "Why, I heard tell 'twas the Indians chanced on 'em first. They comes over to hunt on Chincoteague, and 'twasn't only deer and otter and beaver they finds. They finds these wild ponies pawing the air and snorting through their noses, and they ain't never seen no critters like that, blowing steam and screaming and their tails and manes a flying. and the Indians were so affrighted they run for their canoes. Grandpa Beebe began rubbing both ears in his excitement. Then what, Grandpa? Why, the ponies was left to run wilder and wilder. Nobody lived here to hinder them none. Nobody at all. White men come to live on our Chincoteague Island, but Assateague was left to the critters. Grandpa reached for one of his socks, then broke out in sudden laughter. He bellowed. Paul and Maureen looked all around them. What's so funny, Grandpa? They asked. Grandpa was slapping his thigh, rocking back and forth. I just now thought of something right smart cute, he chuckled when he would get his breath. You see, lots of folks like to call themselves descendants of the first families of Virginia. They kind of make a highfalutin club out in it and labels it FFV. But you know what? Here's Grandpa's eyes. Here, Grandpa's eyes twinkle like the sea with the sun blazing on it. What? Chorused Paul and Maureen. The real first families of Virginia was the ponies. That was my history book says. Wait, Grandpa, exclaimed Paul. I like the way you talk about history. Grandpa winked in agreement. Nothing so exciting as to tag ends pull right out in the core of the past. Did the first men tame the ponies? Asked Maureen. No, indeedy. Them first men had no use for the wild thrashing ponies. A slow-going pair of oxen could do all the plowing for bread, corn, and sesh. Guess maybe it was Bob Watson's boy of Chincoteague who first tried to put a wild pony to plow. She was a dead ringer for the Phantom, too. But that was a long time ago. Paul's heart turned a somersault. What happened to her, Grandpa? Did she gentle? Why, she just broke the single tree as if 'twas a matchstick, cleared the fence, and blew to her island home, with the reins a-stringing out behind her. Oh, some of them you just can't get gentle. Not after they lived wild. Only the youngsters is worth bothering about. So far as the gentling goes, recommember that. Paul and Maureen looked at each other. They were thinking of the secret plan to own Phantom. Grandpa Beebe began putting on his socks and shoes. Likely the game warden is done checking up on the wild birds. I promised to meet him at Tom's Cove afore the tide ebbs bare. But, he added, as he pulled on his boots, I know my tithe, and I'll give ye time for one more question. Maureen looked at Paul. You asked, Paul. Paul jumped to his feet. How could he just ask one question when dozens popped into his mind? He began picking up fiddler crabs furiously, as if that would help him think. Finally, he turned to Grandpa. It's about pony penning day, he blurted out. How did it start? It was plain to see that Grandpa Beebe liked that question. He began rubbing the bristles of one ear and then the other. 'Twas this-a-way, he said. In the yesterdays, when their corn was laid by, folks on Chincoteague got to yearning for a big holiday. So they sails over to Assateague and rounds up all the wild ponies. 'Twas big sport. Like hunting buffalo or deer, asked Paul. Exactly like that. Only they didn't kill the ponies, just rounded them up for fun of the chase. Then they cut out a few of the youngerlings to gentle, try some roping and rough riding of the wild ones, at a big dinner of outdoor pot pie, and come on back home to Chincoteague. By and by, they add something to the fun. They swung the ponies across the channel to Chincoteague and put on a big show. 'Twas so exciting folks come from as far as New York to see it. And before we knowed it, we was selling off some of the colts to the mainlanders. Why did they sell the wild things? Asked Maureen. Why? Echoed Grandpa. Why? Ponies are overrunning the acetate. They was getting thick as raisins in a pie. That thick, Grandpa? Asked Maureen, her eyes rounded. Well, maybe not that thick, grinned Grandpa. Don't keep interrupting Grandpa, exclaimed Paul. Today is just the same, Grandpa said slowly. Along toward the tail end of July, when the ponies is done with fighting and fouling, and the waterman is tired of planting oysters, then we all get to hankering for a celebration. So the men folk round up the ponies, and the women folk bake meat pot pie. And there ye are. Only now, outside a few horsemen like me, the fire department owns most of the wild ponies. And a good thing it is for Chincoteague. Why is that? Because all the money they make from selling them goes on to our firefighting apparatus. Grandpa Beebe rose stiffly. Come on, you two. I hain't got time to school you. That's what me and Grandma pays taxes for. Besides, we've been a-setting here so long, the sand is liable to drift up over us and make another white cliff out in us. It's time we was getting back home to Chincoteague and Grandma's turkeys. All right, guys, so that is chapter 4. I hope you enjoy the boy and the girl's time with Grandpa. Next time, we'll be talking about a piece of wind and sky in chapter 5.